Shut up when a man says shut up. She's combative. That's your biggest argument for a woman, that she's combative, but you're a cheater and a liar and a narcissist and a manipulator, but she's combative. She should combat those things.
What's good, YouTube, man? You already know who it is, man. It's your boy, Project Slum Lord, King of the Slum Business, aka Slum World Ray, aka Project Pookie Ray in the building, man. You already know who it is, man. And for those of y'all that's just tuned into this video, make sure y'all leave a comment in the chat, in the comment section, and just be like, hey, YouTube, you feel me? So without further ado, we about to get into this video. This video today we're going to be reacting to is from the Lapeef Network. And it's about men say that the black people help destroy the family structure. So, and then later on in the conversation, they start talking, well, as the conversation go, they start talking about God. And for those of y'all who new to the channel and don't really pay attention to my content, yeah, I rock with the Bible content, but I just don't post that type of content or talk about that type of content. But we gonna get into it today because the women on the panel decided to bring God into the mix. So, without further ado, man, let's get into this video.
If the men are not doing what they're supposed to do in accordance to God, then what reason would the women have to follow the man?
Well, I thought you were going to say if the men are not doing what they're supposed to do according to God, how are women able to unalive the man? And if I were to answer that, I would say his seed. Use his seed against him and use his seed to destroy his community. That's how you kill the man.
Even deeper than that.
Hey, he got a point. Think about it. The abortion thing that been going on for the past few 5, 6, 7 to 10 years, you get what I'm saying? Like, why is that propaganda being pushed? Now, I'm gonna try to say a lot without saying too much. You get what I'm saying? Because I don't want my video to get, you know what I'm saying, taken down. But let's just be honest. He definitely hit both of them actually did, to be honest with you, because even the first guy, when he said they not following according to God, what do women have to follow behind the man? And that's true. That's true. They both have valid points.
Contingent that women aren't following men because they don't follow God, it falls apart because women aren't going to church to select the men to follow specifically. So we can't even get to this path if it cuts off right there.
Wait a minute, Marcus.
Oh my
Hold
goodness.
on, because you're acting like men actually go. Men don't be in church. I'm telling you, from a person who used to go to church. My bad. Used to go to church a lot. Men don't be in church. Women are the ones in church. Men don't be in there, and the men that do be in there, they don't like us. And
You
the
know
other
why?
men that do be in there be sleeping with every
They
woman
cheat.
in there.
You know why?
Nope. I'm not gonna allow them to say that because that's false. That's false. The men that be in the church are not straight men. They are homosexual men. And the ones that are in there are led by their wives. They're effeminate men that are led by the women that force their husbands to go to church on Sunday, because men don't like going to church. What man want to go to church where the woman, his wife, looks at the pastor in way more reverence, and the pastor got way more say in the household and in the marriage than the husband? That's just Christianity, though. I mean, I'm not a religious person. I don't believe in religion, but I do believe in the Bible. I follow the Bible. You get what I'm saying? I follow what the word says. I go by the word, but I don't believe in religion, because on one hand, religion was given to you by the oppressors for those people who come from descendants and the lineage of the oppressed people. But then on the other hand, when you got so many people that have been taught to think of this doctrine and this from out this book in a certain way, Yeah, it's gonna take a lot to try to get them to come off of what they was taught. You get what I'm saying? So we're not even. I don't even be trying to do all that. I just go by what it say. And for those, like, if my woman, right? She's up under the word because she love God. She love the word and she understands, you know what I'm saying, that the word overrides what man say. So she pretty much, you know what I'm saying, she try to live according to the word of God too. You get what I'm saying? So I get what the first guy was saying, but from what the lady was saying, nah, bro, men just ain't going to church because we don't want our women looking up to no other man and no other man having more power in the household and over his wife than him. Like, that's crazy.
Are no
The
quality men in church.
You know why they ain't in there?
the personal experience that I've had with being in church heavy as a child and then growing up, the first time that I saw the pastor and his brother outside of church as an adult, that was not the pastor I knew. That was no long that became the predator all of a sudden. Why do people think just because you go to church, you're some type of upstanding person? No, you're just standing in a building listening to words. A
Yeah.
lot of those men are not godly men. They're just going to church. They like the way it looks. They like to be able to act like, oh, I'm a godly man. I go to church. I go to Bible study. And
She's wrong. And I'm gonna be honest, she wrong because most men don't go to church. And the ones that are in the church are led by women. They're led by their wives. Those are the Democrat, not to make it about politics, but as far as the aesthetic of like manly man is on the Republican side and the softer men are on the Democrat side, it's like that. They're like the docile, effeminate men, the grass eating lions.
then what? You go and
Hold on,
drink
which one is
and
it? The men are not in church or the
So
men
But
wait,
in?
they're human
wait,
though. We're not
wait
they're
a minute.
human. That's the thing. Pastors and stuff. I do go to church, and there are men in the church. The thing is, those men are married, and they go
Facts, just like she said.
with their wives and families. That's usually it. And then we got 304s, men and women both go to church because they always talk about the church thoughts. So you have bad people that go to church. We got it. That they're not doing the right thing. But again, when we talk about pastors and people, they're human. They are human. I mean, oh my gosh, you're gonna ban them if they walk with the Bible in their hand. Don't make out you being a hypocrite. They are human individuals who are.
I hear you, but you can't be the leader of a flock and you holding people's souls in your power because they're following you thinking that they're doing the right thing according to the word of God to have salvation in the kingdom of heaven, but they really not because the pastors don't even teach the Bible for real. Two, just like she said, they human and they make mistakes and they falter too. So they're not the example of who to follow. Because again, they don't even teach you what a sin is, let alone you knowing when they're sinning or not. You just going off of them doing something that you disagree with, like you go to your pastor house and you see he got a wine cellar in his house. You think he's sinning, but he not sinning according to the Bible. Anyway, let's get back to it. I was just trying to put y'all down on some game real quick about the Bible. You know what I'm saying?
Are preaching the word of the Bible. You do not have to look at now. Don't get me wrong. We aren't talking about if they out here commit adultery and all that other stuff. But if you see a pastor out, I've seen my pastor out before, of course at ice cream shop. But I'm just saying, they're human. That's what I cannot understand. I don't know what are we expecting out of people. I don't get it. Like absolutely nobody's perfect. I don't understand what we looking at getting. What's the problem?
This is crazy.
no,
Sweetie,
I'm
hold
not
up, Sweetie.
saying that they have to be perfect. I just think it's quite interesting that to compare, like, I look at it like this. When women are saying what they don't like in men, one of the biggest things is that they're saying, oh, let's say like promiscuity or certain things like that, right? But the things that it seems like are starting to become the forefront of what men tend to nitpick about women are like kind of small or asinine. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, she just said. So she just said that the things that women complain about with men, as far as promiscuity, which according to the Bible, most of the men had wives and concubines. They had more than one wife. Like they had more than one woman. So this is when women get to speaking about the Bible, but they don't know the Bible because they don't know that it's not a sin for you to have multiple wives. But she's so wrong because she just said as if the women complain about men having more than one woman, promiscuity, which when was promiscuity ever associated to men? Right? That's never been associated to men. She just tried to use something. But she just tried to say like women complain about men cheating, which is I guess promiscuity to her, is way bigger in comparison to the things that men complain about. When you have the sexual revolution and men complain about women being promiscuous, that's exactly what men complain about. The sexual revolution of the day has granted women all the rights to be thought pockets, you know what I'm saying, little, you know what I'm saying, fun girls, party girls. You get what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, we appreciate party girls. I'm just saying, like me personally, I appreciate a party girl. I'm not mad at girls for being party girls. Do your thing, shawty. But what I'm saying is, you being more promiscuous is way worse than a guy being promiscuous. Nobody's gonna care. A guy can have sex with 1,000 women. He can still get married and find a wife. It's gonna be hard for Bonnie Blue to find a husband. And her husband will probably be a docile, effeminate man if she do find a husband, you know, like the men that go to church who are led by the women, like the men on the Democratic side. As far as I'm just trying to connect everything all in one so y'all get it. But enough of me rambling. Let's get back to it.
Like, there are so many platforms across the internet that are talking about women's femininity, but then men find all of these ways to be rude and disrespectful and cheat and all of these things. But the biggest problem in the world is that women don't.
Rude, disrespectful, and cheap. How does cheap even correlate into being rude and disrespectful? I thought she was gonna say like violent or something. She said rude, disrespectful, and cheap.
Know how to shut up when a man says shut up. She's combative. That's your biggest argument for a woman, that she's combative, but you're a cheater and a liar and a narcissist and a manipulator, but she's combative. She should combat those things.
Here, why are you listening to those men? Of course, we all know there are radicals everywhere. Y'all listen to these men. Y'all, I mean, I'm just saying these
because
are
it's not a small percent like people keep trying to say it is.
Married men are not even on the internet. They're not. They're with their wives.
That's not a small percent. I hate how people keep saying that that's a small percent, but if you scroll on TikTok or on Instagram for just...
And then she resorts to using, the lady just said, most men are not on social media. Then she scrolls, resorts to using social media and says, like, if you scroll on TikTok. So she uses TikTok as her example of, like, men being on social media.
10 minutes, that's all you will see.
That's your algorithm. But here's what we really have. Here's what we really have, right? Sweetie gave y'all a serious cop out, and shame on you for that, because for real, women just don't want to follow men. It ain't got nothing to do with the Bible. Most of y'all are not godly any damn way. So why do we really want?
He did not lie. Y'all ain't even godly. What is y'all talking about God for? Y'all want to abort babies. Y'all want to abort babies. Why are we talking about God?
Want to go there anyway. Y'all just don't want to follow men. Say that shit. You don't want to follow men, and I dig it. If you don't, that's cool. But say that shit. Say it with your chest. You don't want to follow men. Whether he's godly, you don't want to follow him. Whether he's ungodly, you don't want to follow him. Y'all don't want to follow men. Right now, what we have is we have a government who has designed it to tear the families apart, and it's a goddamn shame that black people are the main ones to fall for it. Our families are not intact because we are disobeying the natural order. And I don't care if you're talking about Christianity. I don't care if you're talking about Islam. I don't care what you're talking about. It's the same type shit. It's a natural order. And most of us could tell. And most species can understand that too. But for some reason, us black folk want to fuck the game up and act like we don't know what it's supposed to be. And y'all don't want to follow a dude. If you don't trust him, if you don't trust in his leadership, say that shit. Don't try to say like, I'm not trying to. No, we know what you're doing. You just don't want to follow us. And that's fine. Don't. But just don't get mad when you get the results that you do. When it's later in life, don't
Can I
get
ask you
mad.
a question? Can I ask a question? I hear the talks and I hear people.
Before she go, I agree with everything he just said. I agree with every last bit of what he just said. So let's hear what they talk about, because I don't even see how you could disagree with that.
Beating their chest on the internet, both women and men. But I don't think that.
Okay, like why? Like why? Right? Like why, y'all, are we constantly comparing the internet to real life? The internet is not real life. Like this conversation is only relevant because it's on the internet. You can't have this conversation in real life, because in real life, women really going 50-50. In real life, women ain't getting all these luxury, all this. Like, they're not telling you what they really doing behind the scenes to get this. So, like, in real life is completely different from social media. But you get people who get too caught up in the metaverse that they start actually living their actual life according to the things that they're seeing on the internet.
So when we're talking about women following all men, yes, nobody's gonna follow all men because all y'all ain't that bright. But when it comes to your man, I think that most women don't mind following their man. So let me give you an example. Let me finish talking. All of the men on this channel, before your wives, did you not have a woman you dated who was a good girl who followed you? You just didn't choose her. Anybody? So have you guys?
What do you mean by good woman?
There's no way to measure. It's the only way you can measure that. The only way we can measure whether she was able to follow us, if we shaped the relationship in a way where I was a leader and we had a direction and a vision to get to. We typically don't do that with bust downs or girlfriends, but our wives, that's when you able to test whether a woman is willing to follow you and get in line. But some girls you mess around with them.
I just kept it to myself. I don't
wanna. So just because she following you at the mall so you can buy her a purse or some shit like that don't mean that.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the gold digger that you dated. I'm talking about a woman that you have dated, because I'm pretty sure your wife was not the first person you dated. So think back to when you guys were dating. Was there a woman who was a great woman? She just wasn't the one for you. For whatever reason, it was nothing really wrong with her. She just was not the one for you. She followed you. I mean,
I will say this.
You gonna let me finish?
I understand what you're saying. You can keep going.
Okay, go ahead. As long as you understand.
I understand exactly what you're saying. I had a woman like that, but it is not consistent, and that's every woman I ever dealt with. And I might be the only one who's gonna admit. You got guys out here that's gonna stroke. They're gonna say, "Oh, my woman is 100% submissive." She fought. No, women, it don't work like that. Even the wife I got, it's always gonna be a battle here and there. That's just the nature. A woman is going to want to try you to see if you If you don't have any boundaries, see if she can cross. Every woman I ever met always tested me to see if I know how to demand respect.
What?
Every woman I ever met with.
So the answer to your question, Shan, is yes, a lot. And to go against the point earlier, I was not righteously godly and all the other stuff. A large portion of that time I was real bogus, and they still was following indiscriminate. Moving forward, I know Darwin put the prerequisite that it's an ego stroke, but my experience has been that if it ain't 100, it's 95% submission, and they don't really be trying me like that. It could be a lot of factors to the reasons why, but that's not been my experience where I've had to go back.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't believe him. I don't believe him. It's either he only F with like ugly BBWs, like big girls, or like low SMV value women. Cause ain't no way he done had a 95% loyalty rate looking at him. Like, come on, gang. I ain't no judgmental. Let's get back to it though.
Back and forth with the women, and that is normally why when I talk, I sound like I'm on the side of the women, because I'm not experiencing women trying to put themselves in equality to a man. Specifically in this conversation, the understanding is that we're on the same level by some of the ideologies. So it's gonna appear that I'm against the women because I'm not talking to somebody that views themselves naturally as somebody I need to protect and is a subordinate, but somebody that says we're equal and let's go head to head. But in general, normally, I 100% agree with you. Most women I've come across have, when given the option, been submissive to the court.
So I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and move it forward. But
that nigga lying. Now look how ugly that nigga look, man. But that's an ugly dog. You couldn't even get on this camera and have your shit together with all these women on there. Tape up nothing. Boy, he lying, gang. I see you though. He capping trying to be, you know what I'm saying? Trying to be what it is. Sound like he Mr. all that for the women. You feel me? Like, boy, get out of here. I'm gonna tell you a secret, man. If majority of women agree with you, you wrong.
But I'm gonna say this: the man literally proved my point. Proved the point of this whole beginning dialogue, y'all. And I'm gonna explain how. When we, JR, put the question back up there. How often do we use the Bible to correct men's behavior? And we just displayed right here on this panel over this whole last part of this whole last hour and a half of a discussion, we did not use the Bible to correct the men. We just only tried to use the Bible to correct the women. But
big screen. Cap, the women brought up God and the women tried to use the Bible to correct the men, but they was using the Bible out of context, and the Bible was actually, you know, bro, I mean, come on, man. It's God, the man, the woman. Like, there's no way you're gonna sit there and try to get find in the Bible where God makes it okay for a woman to assert her authority or to speak or have power over a man. You're not gonna find it. So if you're gonna use the Bible in conjunction to try to correct men's behavior, you got to tell them to keep the law, statutes, and commandments that God gave us, and that way, you know what I'm saying, men to have a guideline of what to follow. That's the same purpose why most people go to Muslim over Christianity, because at least Muslim give you guidelines to follow to make you feel like you actually doing something. But in Christianity, you don't have to do nothing. According to what the Bible actually says, you have to keep his law, statutes, and commandments, and, you know what I'm saying, repent for thy sins. So until men learn and women learn to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, they'll never have nothing or no structure behind what it is they believe. So till next time, thank y'all for tuning into this video. Till next time, man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. If you got this far into the video, I want to thank you, because that means so much to me. It means a lot. You know what I'm saying? So without y'all, I probably wouldn't even be doing these videos, man. Till next time, man, I'm out.
Me and muddy, that's just what I like. I be sipping on mud.